It was a stormy night, and John found himself in a dire situation. His business, which he had nurtured for years, was on the brink of collapse. His marriage was facing challenges, and the weight of the world felt like a crushing burden on his shoulders. But amidst the tempests of life, he remained calm, like a sturdy oak tree standing resolute against the elements. His friends were astonished. "How can you be so composed during such times?" they inquired. John's response was simple: "I am a Stoic." Stoicism is a school of Hellenistic philosophy founded in Athens by Zeno of Citium around 300 BCE. A contemporary to other philosophical systems like Epicureanism and skepticism, Stoicism teaches the development of self-control and fortitude as a means to overcome destructive emotions. It asserts that virtue is sufficient for happiness and that the individual's judgment should be based on behavior rather than words. The influence of Stoicism is vast, stretching from ancient Greece and Rome to modern-day thought leaders. Stoicism's founding figure, Zeno of Citium, was initially a merchant. After a shipwreck took his material wealth, Zeno turned towards philosophy as his guiding compass. He drew upon the teachings of earlier philosophers like Socrates and the Cynics to form what we now recognize as Stoicism. Zeno was succeeded by Cleanthes and then by Chrysippus, who were critical in shaping the Stoic doctrine. But Stoicism found its full flowering in the Roman Empire. Roman Stoics like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius contributed massively to the propagation and adaptation of Stoic philosophy, making it accessible to the average person. Seneca was an advisor to Emperor Nero and also a playwright. His works, Letters from a Stoic, offer everyday advice on dealing with challenges and moral dilemmas. Epictetus, born a slave, gave us the Enchiridion, a manual for Stoic ethical advice. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor, provided a unique look into Stoic principles through his Meditations, a journal he wrote for himself, reflecting his own journey toward self-improvement. Rule 1. Accept what you can and can't control. There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. One of the most fundamental principles of Stoic philosophy is the ability to distinguish between what you can control and what you cannot. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "The chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals, not under my control, and which have to do with the choices I actually control. Where then do I look for good and evil? Not to uncontrollable externals, but within myself, to the choices that are my own." If we get this right, we remove the ability for the areas of life outside our control to impact our peace of mind, and we're free to focus our efforts on the areas of life we can control. This essentially makes us far more resilient and effective as individuals. If we get this wrong, we allow anything in the world around us to influence our well-being. Our peace of mind becomes a plaything of chance through our inability to decide what we can do something about and accept what we can't. Instead, we're pulled in all directions by anything around us that captures our attention or emotional energy. Rule 2. Accept fate. One area of life that causes a lot of people a lot of suffering is the inability to accept the unraveling of events around them, despite these events being completely outside the individual's control. This could be anything from traffic, the economy, the weather, or the actions and behavior of other people. Regardless of what fate has been put in front of us, if it's happened, no amount of worry, anger, jealousy, or frustration will rewind time and undo what's been done, nor will it change anything that is yet to come if those events are outside the reach of your control. To illustrate this and help them learn to accept fate, the Stoics used the concept of amor fati, or love of fate. Nietzsche once wrote, "My formula for human greatness is amor fati." That one wants nothing to be different, not in the future, not in the past, not for all eternity, not only to endure what is necessary, still less to conceal it. All idealism is falseness in the face of necessity, but to love it. This was the idea that instead of resisting fate, fighting it tooth and nail, and thereby causing ourselves suffering, we should learn to accept it and even love it. After all, everything that has come before you was needed for you to be here right now. Without the unfolding of all of the things before you, gas clouds wouldn't have come together to form planets and stars. Stars wouldn't have bound lighter elements into heavier elements. And life itself wouldn't have begun from the most basic building blocks of life. We wouldn't have wildlife, mountains, oceans, history, or culture. You wouldn't have the ability to laugh, to feel love, to fear, to feel joy, peace, awe, wonder, and create. While there may be suffering in the world, it is exactly this suffering that's needed to make the good feel good. We need hard work to make rest feel restful. We need loss to appreciate what we have, and we need dark to appreciate light. While it's easy to focus on the areas of life that cast shadow over our well-being, the shadows are part of life. And if we want a world in which people are conscious and aware, we need to accept the shadows as part of the whole, and even learn to love them for the growth, the contrast, and the opportunities they bring. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish that what happens happen the way it happens. Then you will be happy." Rule 3. Accept death. Death and the fear of death can be a debilitating block on our ability to develop a durable and consistent mindset. It can even go so far as preventing people from trying new things, leaving the house, and to live in constant fear of the end. Under the fear of death, we can be robbed of life. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This fear and uneasiness can come in many forms. We can fear for our own lives, and the thought that one day our existence will end, and we may just be snuffed out. Or our fear may come in the form of fear for others we love, and we may limit their experience as we try and shelter them from harm. Either way, death can be a burden depending on how we look at it, but it can also be a catalyst for good. The Stoics employed a principle called Memento Mori, or the practice of reminding yourself that you will die. However, this was not a morbid fear-mongering exercise. It was designed to add beauty, gratitude, and fulfillment to life. Through the reminder of death, we can learn to appreciate life. Knowing that there will only be a finite number of times we can see our friends, be with family, enjoy a meal, see a sunset, walk through fields, enjoy the ocean, read our favorite book, eat popcorn in front of a movie, or embrace our partner, can create an intense feeling of gratitude in the moment. We stop taking things for granted, we stop focusing on the little arguments and the minor annoyances, and instead become more deliberate with our attention. Because it's a limited resource. The awareness of death can add a vibrance to life, and something which is normally pushed out of mind because of the discomfort it causes can be one of the most useful tools to help us find gratitude and help us focus on what's important to us. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Rule 4. Accept that your happiness is your responsibility. In the long run, we shape our lives and we shape ourselves. The process never ends until we die. And the choices we make are ultimately our own responsibility. One major obstacle that impedes personal growth is the habit of blaming others. When we attribute our circumstances, actions, or emotional states to external parties, we relinquish accountability. By doing so, we avoid taking responsibility for our own words, thoughts, and actions that have contributed to our current situation. The Stoic Epictetus said, "If you want something good, get it from yourself." Blaming others might offer temporary relief, shifting the weight of responsibility off our shoulders for a moment. But it comes at a long-term cost and is often rooted in falsehood. Upon self-reflection, it becomes evident that there are always choices we could have made differently, beliefs we could have revisited, relationships we could have navigated more effectively, and actions we could have executed to propel us forward. This is our burden to bear, not anyone else's. Echoing the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who emphasized discerning between what is and isn't within our control, it becomes clear that everything falling under the controllable category is our responsibility. Focusing on these aspects empowers us to grow and navigate life's complexities more effectively. He said, "Within our power are our own opinions, aims, desires, dislikes, in sum, our own thoughts and actions. Certainly, it's possible to attribute what's within our control to others, but this is neither productive nor accurate. Such blame serves as a temporary balm, providing a fleeting sense of absolution. However, this avoidance of responsibility generally equates to an inability to acknowledge the need for change." Rule 5. Accept that life is change. Emperor of Rome and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote a few words on change which, to me, are some of the best words on the subject. He wrote, "Frightened of change? But what can exist without it? What's closer to nature's heart? Can you take a hot bath and leave the firewood as it was? Eat food without transforming it? Can any vital process take place without something being changed? Can't you see? It's just the same with you, and just as vital to nature. Many people are naturally inclined to resist change for understandable reasons. We find solace in stability, take pleasure in predictability, and feel reassured when the world conforms to the mental blueprint we've designed for it. Change introduces elements of the unknown and unfamiliar, threatening to upend the equilibrium that makes us feel secure and at ease. However, change is not just inevitable, but a fundamental aspect of life. If we fail to adapt and remain rigid in the face of changing circumstances, we risk fracturing under the strain they impose. Resisting change only amplifies our suffering as transformations continue to unfold around us. The very fabric of the universe is woven with change. It's what enables our existence and the countless marvels we encounter in the world. Without change, neither we nor the wonders around us could exist. In a world plagued by anxiety, existential dread, and an incessant desire for more, Stoicism offers an antidote. Its principles, time-tested for over 2 millennia, offer a toolkit for facing the complexities of modern life. Whether you're a CEO leading a company or someone struggling with personal challenges, Stoic philosophy offers a framework for navigating life's ups and downs. Stoicism, like any philosophical doctrine, is not a one-size-fits-all solution. However, its principles offer valuable guidelines for fostering resilience, emotional intelligence, and a meaningful life. Just ask John, whose Stoic practices not only saw him through personal and professional trials, but also transformed his approach to life, making him an embodiment of Stoic tranquility amidst chaos.